Yoga or union had become effortless. No more standing on your head, no need for expensive mantras. Now it was easier to get your enlightenment in the heart of London than it was in the Himalayas. Visits to the psychiatrist's couch were no longer necessary. Sri Mataji was not concerned with the quantity of people, but with the quality of the seekers. She never took any money for giving or developing self-realization, and started Sahaja Yoga with her own resources. To this day, she insists that you cannot pay for your spiritual ascent.
And the people were so money-oriented that they would not listen to me, because I said, you cannot pay for your evolution, you cannot pay for your realization. While those people who said you have to pay, they were very happy. And they wouldn't believe me. I was so disappointed with the way they were looking at spirituality. How much did we pay to Christ? How much did we pay to Mother Earth for these flowers? That money orientation was so great that one of the reasons for our plight is that we supported all kinds of wrong, false people.
She was very anxious to save the American seekers from false gurus who had descended upon that country and were leading people to their destruction. In 1972, she sold her gold bangles and with that money set sail for America. In hall after hall, she warned of the dangers of following the false teachers who made many claims, but in reality were damaging the kundalinis and energy centers of their disciples. However, this message fell on deaf ears. The seekers of America were too naive and enthralled to listen. She was in great anguish at the plight of America, and on board the ship to India, her heart was pining to save her children. She addressed them in this poem.
To my flower children, you are angry with life, like small children whose mother is lost in darkness. You sulk, expressing despair at the fruitless end of your journey. You wear ugliness to discover beauty. You name everything false in the name of truth. You drain out emotions to fill the cup of love. My sweet children, my darling, how can you get peace by waging war with yourself, with your being, with joy itself? Enough are your efforts of renunciation, the artificial mask of consolation. Now rest in the petals of the lotus flower, in the lap of your gracious mother. I will adorn your life with beautiful blossoms and fill your moments with joyful fragrance. I will anoint your head with divine love, for I cannot bear your torture anymore. Let me engulf you in the ocean of joy, so you lose your being in the greater one, who is smiling in your calyx of self, secretly hidden to tease you all the while. Be aware, and you will find him, vibrating your every fiber with blissful joy, covering the whole universe with light.
Sri Mataji's efforts to reach the Western seekers intensified in 1974. Her husband was elected Secretary General of the United Nations International Maritime Organization, and they moved to England. Europe became her home, and Sahaja Yoga centers sprang up across the continent. Finding that this worked well for individuals, she began to emphasize the need for collective awareness. The experience became stronger when shared with others. She likened this to the analogy of one candle enlightening another and another, until there were so many candles standing together that the room was filled with light. The added dimension of feeling the connection to others was intrinsic to this new state of consciousness, and those practicing Sahaja Yoga found they were part of something greater than themselves, the transformation of mankind.
Sri Mataji explains, the door of Sahaja Yoga is open to everyone, and every human being can achieve collective consciousness. The only problem is that the freedom of choice of the individual has to be respected because he has ultimately to enter the area of total freedom. Thus, there may be many who may not sincerely seek their salvation. But if later on they see the multitude of realized souls enjoying the bliss of collective consciousness, they may also desire to get into their higher evolutionary process. This is how all evolutionary processes have worked in nature. The guiding and controlling force that acts is the spirit. This is the collective being within us which manifests in our attention and makes us collectively conscious.
Sri Mataji was foremost a mother, and her obligation was to see her dream for global transformation realized. Traveling tirelessly year-round, day in and day out, she has given second birth to all who desired it.
Since 1970, she has given enlightenment en masse in over 65 countries around the world, from Russia to Australia. In 1995, at a program held in Bombay, Sri Mataji raised the kundalinis of over 100,000 people at the same time. People overflowed from the hall and sat in the streets. Unable to hear the lecture, they simply held out their hands and felt the joy. Programs of similar magnitude have become common throughout Russia and Eastern Europe. Sri Mataji's name has become a household word for many Russian families, and programs must be held in football stadiums to accommodate all those who ardently desire their spiritual fulfillment. They recognize that she is the great mother who has come to comfort them.
Because these are special times, as blossom times, and so many of you who were seekers before, seeking truth all over, going to Himalayas, standing on your heads, fasting, doing all kinds of renunciations and everything, now have taken birth and are normal people, householders. This was all promised that such thing will happen. Only with such people Sahaja Yoga will work. So the whole thing is, I would say, a plan which has worked out. You all took your birth at this special moment. Even if you see the position of stars and all that, you can see clearly how everything has clicked together. It's all a divine plan.